How's it going, everybody? It's your buddy Jesse Wayne Taylor, and I'm back at it again to do a little bit of Bible reading with you. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I'm having a wonderful day so far. I've spent most of it inside. It's been pretty chilly this morning. Got out and did a little walking down the beach with my mother while my wife and little man slept in, and now little man is taking a nap with my mother, and my beautiful wife is outside enjoying the sunshine on her own while I do my Bible reading. And I'm glad that she's getting to do that because she really loves to lay in the sun. I don't. I'm not a big layer outer. I either like to be in the water or in the room. Those are like laying out in the sun is not a vacation for me. So I'm glad that she enjoys that and she's getting to do that right now. I will be, once little man wakes up and we get done doing our Bible reading here, I'll certainly be taking it out to the beach for a little while. But y'all already know I got a little burnt. It's clearing up pretty bad. It hadn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be. That first night was pretty Red Lobsterish, but it's starting to ease up a little bit. Haven't been to the beach today, so I have no fun underwater videos for you. Yesterday, the ones that I took were pretty lame. So maybe we'll get lucky this afternoon and there'll be some fun wildlife out in the water I can capture. We'll see. I don't know. I just really hope that I don't capture a shark. When I was filming all those little fish that I showed you guys a few episodes back, I was like, there was a guy out there in the ocean with me checking them out. And I was like, dude, this is all fun and games until a big bull shark comes right through the middle of this pack of bait fish. So y'all say some prayers that the sharks stay away for the rest of my trip out here. All right, guys, what do you say we do a little bit of Bible reading? If you ain't got your Bible, bust that thing out, dude. And if you don't want to hold one, you know the drill. I got it right here on the screen for you. Today we're going to read 2 Samuel chapter 2 through chapter 5. Starting off with 2 Samuel chapter 2. David anointed king over Judah. In the course of time, David inquired of the Lord, "Shall I go up to one of the towns of Judah?" he asked. The Lord said, "Go up." David asked, "Where shall I go?" "To Hebron," the Lord answered. So David went up there with his two wives, Ahinoam, I have trouble with that one every time, of Jezreel, and Abigail, the widow of Nabal of Carmel. David also took the men who were with him, each with his family, and they settled in Hebron and its towns. Then the men of Judah came to Hebron, and they anointed David king over the tribe of Judah. When David was told that it was the men from Jabesh Gilead who had buried Saul, he sent messengers to them saying, "The Lord bless you for showing this kindness to Saul, your master, by burying him. May the Lord now show you kindness and faithfulness, and I too will show you the same favor because you have done this. Now then, be strong and brave, for Saul your master is dead, and the people of Judah have anointed me king over them." War between the houses of David and Saul. Meanwhile, Abner, son of Ner, the commander of Saul's army, had taken Ishbosheth, son of Saul, and brought him over to Mahanaim. He made him king over Gilead, Ashuri, and Jezreel, and also over Ephraim, Benjamin, and all Israel. Ishbosheth, son of Saul, was 40 years old when he became king over Israel, and he reigned 2 years. The tribe of Judah, however, remained loyal to David. The length of time David was hiking in Hebron over Judah was 7 years and 6 months. Abner, son of Ner, together with the men of Ishbosheth, son of Saul, left Mahanaim and went to Gibeon. Joab, son of Zeruiah, Zeruiah and David's men went out and met them at the pool of Gibeon. One group sat down on one side of the pool and one group on the other side. Then Abner said to Joab, "Let's have some of the young men get up and fight hand in front of us." "All right, let them do it," Joab said. So they stood up and were counted off, 12 men for Benjamin and Ishbosheth, son of Saul, and 12 for David. Then each man grabbed his opponent by the head and thrust his dagger into his opponent's side, and they fell down together. So that place in Gibeon was called Helkath Hazarim. The battle that day was very fierce, and Abner and the Israelites were defeated by David's men. The 3 sons of Zeruiah were there: Joab, Abishai, and Asahel. Now Asahel was fleet-footed as a wild gazelle. He chased Abner, turning neither to the right nor to the left as he pursued him. Abner looked behind him and asked, "Is that you, Asahel?" Or Asahel? Gosh, I'm not good at that one. "It is," he answered. Then Abner said to him, "Turn aside to the right or to the left. Take on one of the young men and strip him of his weapons." But Asahel would not stop chasing him. Again, Abner warned Asahel, "Stop chasing me. Why should I strike you down? How could I look your brother Joab in the face?" But Asahel refused to give up the pursuit. So Abner thrust the butt of his spear into Asahel's stomach, and the spear came out through his back. I don't think the butt of the spear is as sharp. So that must have been a tough thrust, man. He fell there and died on the spot, and every man stopped when he came to the place where, I don't know how that happened. It just skipped way down. Sorry about that, guys. So we'll start back there at 23. But Asahel refused to give up the pursuit. So Abner thrust the butt of his spear into Asahel's stomach, and the spear came out through his back. He fell there and died on the spot, and every man stopped when he came to the place where Asahel had fallen and died. But Joab and Abishai pursued Abner. And as the sun was setting, they came to the hill of Ammah, near Giah, on the way to the wasteland of Gibeon. What keeps happening here? Sorry, guys. So that was the end of 24 that we just read there. Then the men of Benjamin rallied behind Abner. They formed themselves into a group and took their stand on top of a hill. Abner called out to Joab, "Must the sword devour forever? Don't you realize that this will end in bitterness? How long before you order your men to stop pursuing their fellow Israelites?" Joab answered, "As surely as God lives, if you had not spoken, the men would have continued pursuing them until morning." So Joab blew the trumpet, and all the troops came to halt. They no longer pursued Israel, nor did they fight anymore. All that night Abner and his men marched through the Arabah. They crossed the Jordan, continued through the morning hours, and came to Mahanaim. Then Joab stopped pursuing Abner and assembled the whole army. Besides Asahel, 19 of David's men were found missing, but David's men had killed 360 Benjaminites who were with Abner. They took Asahel and buried him in his father's tomb at Bethlehem. Then Joab and his men marched all night and arrived at Hebron by daybreak. 2 Samuel chapter 3. The war between the house of Saul and the house of David lasted a long time. David grew stronger and stronger while the house of Saul grew weaker and weaker. Sons were born to David in Hebron. His first was Amnon, the son of Ahinoam of Jezreel. His second, Chileab, the son of Abigail, the widow of Nabal of Carmel. The third, Absalom, the son of Maacah, daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. The fourth, Adonijah, the son of Haggith. The fifth, Shephatiah, the son of Abital. And the sixth, Ithream, the son of David's wife, Elgah. These were born to David in Hebron. Abner goes over to David. During the war between the house of Saul and the house of David, Abner had been strengthening his own position in the house of Saul. Now Saul had a concubine named Rizpah, daughter of Aiah, and Ishbosheth said to Abner, "Why did you sleep with my father's concubine?" Abner was very angry because of what Ishbosheth said. So he answered, "Am I a dog's head on Judah's side? This very day I am loyal to the house of your father Saul and to his family and friends. I haven't handed you over to David. Yet now you accuse me of an offense involving this woman. May God deal with Abner, be it ever so severely, if I do not do for David what the Lord promised him on oath, and transfer the kingdom from the house of Saul and establish David's throne over Israel and Judah from Dan to Beersheba." Ishbosheth did not dare to say another word to Abner, because he was afraid of him. Then Abner sent messengers on his behalf to say to David, "Whose land is it? Make an agreement with me, and I will help you bring all Israel over to you." "Good," said David, "I will make an agreement with you. But I demand one thing of you. Do not come into my presence unless you bring Michal, daughter of Saul, when you come to see me." Then David sent messengers to Ishbosheth, son of Saul, demanding, "Give me my wife Michal, whom I betrothed to myself for the price of 100 Philistine foreskins." So Ishbosheth gave orders and had her taken away from her husband, Paltiel, son of Laish. Her husband, however, went with her, weeping behind her all the way to Bahurim. Then Abner said to him, "Go back home." So he went back. Abner conferred with the elders of Israel and said, "For some time you have wanted to make David your king. Now do it. For the Lord promised David, by my servant David, I will rescue my people Israel from the hand of the Philistines and from the hand of all their enemies. Abner also spoke to the Benjaminites in person. Then he went to Hebron to tell David everything that Israel and the whole tribe of Benjamin wanted to do. When Abner, who had 20 men with him, came to David at Hebron, David prepared a feast for him and his men. Then Abner said to David, "Let me go at once and assemble all Israel for my lord the king, so that they may make a covenant with you, and that you may rule over all that your heart desires." So David sent Abner away, and he went in peace. Joab murders Abner. Just then David's men and Joab returned from a raid and brought with them a great deal of plunder. But Abner was no longer with David in Hebron, because David had sent him away and he had gone in peace. When Joab and all the soldiers with him arrived, he was told that Abner son of Ner had come to the king, and that the king had sent him away, and that he had gone in peace. So Joab went to the king and said, "What have you done? Look, Abner came to you." Sorry, guys. I got some pretty brutal stuff I'm dealing with today. It's been a rough one with the pain. I'm sure it looks very weird what is happening right now, but trust me, the weird lookingness of it has no comparison to how horrible it feels. Starting back at the top of 24. So Joab went to the king and said, "What have you done? Look, Abner came to you. Why did you let him go? Now he is gone. You know Abner, son of Ner. He came to deceive you and observe your movements and find out everything you are doing." Joab then left David and sent messengers after Abner, and they brought him back from the cistern at Sirah. But David did not know it. Now, when Abner returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside into an inner chamber, as if to speak with him privately, and there, to avenge the blood of his brother Asahel, Joab stabbed him in the stomach, and he died. Later, when David heard about this, he said, "I and my kingdom are forever innocent before the Lord, concerning the blood of Abner and Ner. May his blood fall on the head of Joab and on his whole family. May Joab's family never be without someone who has a running sore or leprosy, or who leans on a crutch, or who falls by the sword, or who lacks food." Joab and his brother Abishai murdered Abner because he had killed their brother Asahel in the battle at Gibeon. Then David said to Joab and all the people with him, "Tear your clothes and put on sackcloth and walk in mourning in front of Abner." King David himself walked behind the bier. They buried Abner in Hebron, and the king wept aloud at Abner's tomb. All the people wept also. The king sang this lament for Abner. "Should Abner have died as the lawless die? Your hands were not bound, your feet were not fettered. You fell as one falls before the wicked." And all the people wept over him again. Then they all came and urged David to eat something while it was still day. But David took an oath, saying, "May God deal with me, be it ever so severely, if I taste bread or anything else before the sun sets." All the people took note and were pleased. Indeed, everything the king did pleased them. So on that day, all the people there and all Israel knew that the king had no part in the murder of Abner, son of Ner. Then the king said to his men, "Do you not realize that a commander and a great man has fallen in Israel this day? And today, though I am the anointed king, I am weak, and these sons of Zeruiah are too strong for me. May the Lord repay the evildoer according to his evil deeds." All right. 2 Samuel chapter 4. When Ishbosheth, son of Saul, heard that Abner had died in Hebron, he lost courage, and all Israel became alarmed. Now Saul's son had 2 men who were leaders of raiding bands. One was named Baanah, and the other Rechab. They were sons of Rimmon the Beerothite from the tribe of Benjamin. Beeroth is considered part of Benjamin, because the people of Beeroth fled to Gittaim and have resided there as foreigners to this day. Jonathan, son of Saul, had a son who was lame in both feet. He was 5 years old when the news about Saul and Jonathan came from Jezreel. His nurse picked him up and fled, but as she hurried to leave, he fell and became disabled. His name was Mephibosheth. That was a long one. Now Rechab and Baanah, the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, set out for the house of Ishbosheth, and they arrived there in the heat of the day while he was taking his noonday rest. They went into the inner part of the house as if to get some wheat, and they stabbed him in the stomach. Man, there's a lot of stomach stabbing going on in these chapters. Then Rechab and his brother Baanah slipped away. They had gone into the house while he was lying on the bed in his bedroom. After they stabbed and killed him, they cut off his head, taking it with them. They traveled all night by the way of Arabah. They brought the head of Ishbosheth to David at Hebron and said to the king, "Here is the head of Ishbosheth, son of Saul, your enemy, who tried to kill you. This day the Lord has avenged my lord the king against Saul and his offspring." David answered Rechab and his brother Baanah, the sons of Rimmon the Beerothite, "As surely as the Lord lives, who has delivered me out of every trouble, when someone told me Saul is dead and thought he was bringing good news, I seized him and put him to death in Ziklag. That was the reward I gave him for his news. How much more when wicked men have killed an innocent man in his own house and on his own bed? Should I not now demand his blood for your hand and rid the earth of you?" So David gave an order to his men, and they killed them. They cut off their hands and feet and hung the bodies by the pool in Hebron. It's probably a big mood killer for the people hanging out at the pool. But they took the head of Ishbosheth and burned it in Abner's tomb at Hebron. Intense. All right, guys, thanks for hanging on with me. This is the last one for today, 2 Samuel chapter 5. David becomes king over Israel. All the tribes of Israel came to David at Hebron and said, "We are your own flesh and blood. In the past, while Saul was hiking over us, you were the one who led Israel on their military campaigns. And the Lord said to you, 'You will shepherd my people Israel, and you will become their ruler.'" When all the elders of Israel had come to King David at Hebron, the king made a covenant with them at Hebron before the Lord, and they anointed David king over Israel. David was 30 years old when he became king, and he reigned 40 years. In Hebron he reigned over Judah 7 years and 6 months, and in Jerusalem he reigned over all Israel and Judah 33 years. David conquers Jerusalem. The king and his men marched to Jerusalem to attack the Jebusites who lived there. The Jebusites said to David, "You will not get in here. Even the blind and the lame can ward you off." They thought, "David cannot get in here." Nevertheless, David captured the fortress of Zion, which is the city of David. On that day, David had said, "Anyone who conquers the Jebusites will have to use the water shaft to reach those lame and blind who are David's enemies." That is why they say, "The blind and lame will not enter the palace." David then took up residence in the fortress and called it the City of David. He built up the area around it from the terraces inward, and he became more and more powerful because the Lord God Almighty was with him. Now Hiram, king of Tyre, sent envoys to David, along with cedar logs and carpenters and stonemasons, and they built up a palace for David. Then David knew that the Lord had established him as king over Israel and had exalted his kingdom for the sake of his people, Israel. After he left Hebron, David took more concubines and wives in Jerusalem, and more sons and daughters were born to him. These are the names of the children born to him there: Shammua, Shobab, Nathan, Solomon, Ibhar, Elishua, Nepheg, Japhia, Elishama, Eliada, and Eliphelet. Man, we got a lot of Elis. I bet those dudes were like, "Dad, why'd you have to give me such a similar name as my brother?" David defeats the Philistines. When the Philistines heard that David had been anointed king over Israel, they went up in force to search for him. But David heard about it and went down to the stronghold. Now the Philistines had come and spread out in the valley of Rephaim. So David inquired of the Lord, "Shall I go and attack the Philistines? Will you deliver them into my hands?" The Lord answered him, "Go, for I will surely deliver the Philistines into your hands." So David went to Baal Perazim, and there he defeated them. He said, "As waters break out, the Lord has broken out against my enemies before me." So that place was called Baal Perazim. The Philistines abandoned their idols there, and David and his men carried them off. Once more the Philistines came up and spread out in the valley of Rephaim. So David inquired of the Lord, and he answered, "Do not go straight up, but circle around behind them and attack them in front of the poplar trees. As soon as you hear the sound of marching in the tops of the poplar trees, move quickly, because that will mean the Lord has gone out in front of you to strike the Philistine army." So David did as the Lord commanded him, and he struck down the Philistines all the way from Gibeon to Gezer. Man, the story of David is certainly an exciting one, to say the least. Like, we definitely don't need Netflix with the drama that is just completely stacked up in the books of 1st and 2nd Samuel. Man, yeah, that's really all I have to say. Is that I also thought it was interesting. The city, I can't remember what they said, which one it was. This part right here. On that day, David had said, "Anyone who conquers the Jebusites will have to use the water shaft to reach those lame and blind who are David's enemies. That is why they say the blind and lame will not enter the place." David then took up residence in the fortress and called it the city of David. What I'm trying to say is the king and his men marched to Jerusalem to attack the Jebusites who lived there. The Jebusites said to David this part, "You will not get in here. Even the blind and lame can ward you off." They thought David cannot get in here. Nevertheless, David captured the fortress of Zion, which is the city of David. You want to be on the Lord's side, right? That's what I would say. Hey guys, what do you say we do a little bit of worshiping? Let's do a little bit of worshiping. All right, so this song is one that I have been singing since I definitely remember this one. My dad was a youth minister when I was really little, and I feel like I can remember this one being sung because when I was a kid, while Dad was the youth minister, they drug me around to all the youth trips. And so not only did I grow up singing the, big people church songs, but I grew up singing the youth group songs as a kiddo too. And this is one that is, man, it's been around for a long time. I sang this one in the youth group in high school, and I still even sing it now sometimes at church. So, and this is one of those that creeps into the big people service, Anyways, I do think this is one that we can all keep in our mind as a wonderful reminder. All right, guys, if you know it, sing it with me. If you don't know it, maybe you'll know it by the time that we're done, and just fall in with us whenever you can figure it out. I'm Humble yourself in the sight of the Lord. Humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, and He will lift you up, and He will lift you up. My Jesus is the Son of God. My Jesus is the Son of God. He died to set men free. He died to set men free. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me, that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. I was blind, but now I see. When we've been there 10,000 years, when we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, bright shining as the sun. We've no less days to sing God's praise. We've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Than when we first begun. So humble yourself in the sight of the Lord. Humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, and He will lift you up, and He will lift you up. All right, y'all sing that with me again. Humble yourself in the sight of the Lord. Humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, and He will lift you up, and He will lift you up. He will lift you up, and He will lift you up. Amen. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Humble yourself in the sight of the Lord, and He will lift you up. Guys, thank y'all for hanging out with me. Thank you for doing a little Bible reading with me. Thank you for doing a little bit of worshiping with me. If you like what's going on this channel, do me a favor, like the videos, leave me some comments, let me know who you are, where you're from, what you like, what you don't like. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an episode. If you're listening on a podcast streaming service, subscribe there, but then mosey on over to YouTube and subscribe there as well, so that when you're chilling on the couch at your house, you can pull your old bald-headed buddy Jesse up on the TV screen and do a little bit of Bible reading with him. Lastly, let's share this with everyone. Let's bring as many people on this Bible reading journey together with us that we can. If you don't think your friends and family will enjoy listening to me read the Bible, I'm not offended in the slightest. There are plenty of people on this planet, I'm sure I would not enjoy listening to them to read anything. So with that being said, I would still like to challenge you to share the word, share the truth, share the gospel, share the light in whatever way is easiest for you. Okay. And if you, like I said, if sharing these videos is not the easiest way for you or just not the way for you in general, cool. Don't worry about sharing these videos, but share the truth. And one easy way that you can do that for free, as you've been seeing me read from the YouVersion website here, you can get the YouVersion Bible app, which I guess I just pulled that out of my screen a little bit. You can get the YouVersion Bible app if you just scan that QR code right there. It'll take you to it. Download it for free. You can share it for free. I will say, if I were a non-Christian and someone just shared the Bible app with me and said, hey man, you ought to read this, I don't know if I would do it. I don't really like reading very much in the first place. And so when I kind of thought about that one day, I thought, but if someone sent me like a 7-day or 10-day or 14-day devotional reading plan, that would maybe be something that I would be willing to consider. So if you'll look at the bottom of the app or the website, you'll see these tabs here. There's a plans tab. If you click that, there's all these different Bible reading plans you can choose from. This section right here, if you click on any of these one words, it will take you to a list of devotionals that have to do with exactly the word that you just clicked on. Okay? And with that being said, there's like a sheet of them, but then there's several sheets of them. So if you don't like the first few, there's going to be more on another sheet that have to do with that specific word that you just clicked on. Now, if I were sharing a devotional with someone that was new or non-Christian, this section right here is probably the one I would go through to choose from. For example, this first one right here, Following Jesus, that's a 14-day plan. That's within the window of what I would probably be willing to do as a non-Christian. And I think the best way for you to maybe be able to get those friends of yours to do it is by doing it with them. So maybe pick one of these plans that you would enjoy reading and send that to one or more of your friends and say, hey, I've been thinking about you and I'm getting ready to do this Bible reading devotional. It's only 7 days. It's only 14 days. And I'd really love for you to do it with me. That would maybe be the foot in the door that they needed to start exploring their faith and hopefully finding salvation in Jesus Christ. Man, how good is that, right? So be the friend that shares that with them. Be the friend that shares that with them. What's that song? Let's see if I can remember it. I'll probably sing it for worship one day, but let's have it a little bit here. Let's see. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, shine. Let it shine all the time. Let it shine. Something like that, okay? Don't let Satan it out, okay? Let that light shine. Yeah, we'll have to do that for worship one day. All right, guys. I think that's all I've got for you. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Y'all have a good one. Peace.